What is up, good people of the internet? Jump in the chat. Let me know. Uh-oh. Do we get a little bit of sound feedback there? Turning it down. All right. Hopefully you don't continue to hear that little bit of sound. Let me know how it sounds. If you're out there, you're watching this on YouTube, hello, John Westhoff. Publisher, writer, letterer for Part-Time Comics. I don't like myself being so big. Let's share a screen. What do we have going on in the world of Part-Time Comics? We're going to talk about what we got coming up next. We're going to talk about what books I've been reading lately. Adjust my microphone. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's share a screen. Yes, share that. Move to here. Can't see what's going on. Got to move my StreamYard. Yeah, so just testing some things today. I'm going to try 2 cameras at once. So let me know how that goes in the comments section. And we will get started. So yeah, we have LCS 1 and 2. This is the first time showing the Kickstarter. I have to mute myself here. Just trying to check the other camera. It's being weird. It will not let me mute this camera. Oh, because oh, maybe that works. Okay, let's check it in a second. Okay, anyway. Messed up again. Darn it. All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're working it out. And yes, we shall work it out live on air. But we've got the LCS Kickstarter coming up in just a few weeks here. So this is the first look at it. We've already previewed our awesome main cover by Winston Gambro. Tell me in the chat or in the comments if you're watching on YouTube if you can tell what that's from. But we went with a little bit more romance. If you read the first issue, you know why that is an important image there. But yeah, we're going to pick up right where issue 2 left off. Cole and Jens were on a supply run, aka looking for comic books in this post-apocalyptic world, as they do week in and week out, when all of a sudden their salvage mission became a rescue mission. And if you read issue 1, I won't spoil it for everyone who didn't get a chance to yet. Finding a human being was a big freaking deal. So it's going to be 22 pages of story, plus some extras in the back. We're going to have advertisement slots in the back again. We have this awesome, colored by Winston Gambro, drawn by Ray Wegner himself, Mr. Skullhouse Studios. We have the variant cover here, very much in the vein of our first variant cover. So, of course, we also have issue 1 as well. It's only a 2-issue series, but just want to make sure that people understand we have a bigger story to tell here, but we're kind of keeping it small and contained right now, seeing how people respond. So if this is something that you like and enjoy, make sure that you support it. You know, the more support we get, the more likely we are to continue on with it. Got some preview pages there. Oh, you'll have to tune in later to check those out. We also had some amazing friends in the community. I've said a million times, we cannot do any of this without our peers in the community. So we are so grateful. We got Monster Matador, Sacrimony, Mandrill PI, and Talos of Sparta. All first issues, all free, just for backing. Any tier. You back for $1, you get these. You back for $100, you get these. So we are, we're super excited to have all these amazing books to give you for free. All you have to do is back in the first week, and I will send these to your inbox. Technically, you could go back and cancel after that if you wanted to be a jerk like that. You could do it, but we'll send these to you just for considering us and jumping in the campaign in the first week. We want to have a really good start with this one. The last couple campaigns have really been a struggle to the end, so we want to get out there right away and get funded. So yeah. So yeah, we've got that. Let me zoom in a little actually. On window. Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to try to make these Wednesday streams a little more regular. It seems like we still have quite a few YouTube viewers that don't follow our mailing list or engage with us on social media. So we want to make sure that they know what's going on too. We have streamed to other platforms in the past. So if you are watching this on YouTube and you'd rather see it on another platform, let us know that too. The radioactive glowing covers are back. We will have issue 2. It is not ready for production yet, but it will be just as amazing as the first issue. This were completed by Ready Comics, my first time working with them, and holy crap, do they look cool. Again, they glow in the black light, not actually radioactive. And they're real metal. So they're solid, they glow. We've got stickers, we've got cover magnets. We've got the original cover art. Oops, this one's sold out. I got to put a thing on there. We have the other 3 covers left because 2 of the covers sold. So we've got both of Ray's covers and Winston's cover for number 2. So jump on that early. We'll also have some other deals. We've been trying that again to reward people who follow us, who jump in, the first day or so. We usually put, heavily discounted items up there, including we're going to have a bundle deal with the metal covers, all the issues from LCS, or all the covers from LCS, and you can get that at an amazing deal. So yeah, we want to reward people who follow. So please follow the campaign. The link's in the description below. Of course, we have all of our previous books, and here's a look at the schedule we have coming for next year. But yeah, did want to let people know what's going on with us. This will be about mid-March, second week of March. And let's remove that. Let's add this. And let's make you. How do I make you the big one? Okay, technical difficulties again. All right, let me move it over here. All right. Nope, not that one. Yeah, I guess for now we'll do it like that. I was trying to make myself a little smaller. Thanks for hanging in there if you're watching this live. Yeah, it doesn't look like you can do that though. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so what have I been reading? Oh, and a little teaser. If you follow the campaign, jump in early. I've been doing these sketch cards just for fun. It's kind of an add-on for people if they back early. So there's a little teaser for you. But what have I been reading lately? Well, a couple weeks ago, I read book 3, the final book from Friday. This is a what if the Hardy Boys or Encyclopedia Brown or those kind of novels that you read as a kid had a much more adult theme to them. Basically, our girl Friday here is growing up. She's been solving mysteries with her friend. He goes missing, and it's just a really good story. Ed Brubaker, writer Marcos Martin on the amazing art. I'll show you some of that now. I believe the color assist was by Munsta Vincent. But yeah, this is a great series. I actually didn't know that it was a like a Patreon or Substack comic first, and then they moved it over to print. It's a little bit digest size, a little bit smaller than regular size, which I thought was cool for the series. It feels like a young reader book, but it's definitely more for adults. There's definitely adult themes here, sexuality, opposite gender friendships and how that can kind of develop and things like that. The art is amazing. I mean, obviously it's worth it alone. He's, world-class artist, but I really like the story. I won't spoil any of it for you. I felt like the ending, I don't even want to say it was predictable. I don't think it was predictable. I think the word I'm looking for was maybe unsatisfying, or they kind of use a trope to kind of guide them through what was going on in the story. And that left me feeling a little flat, but I don't want to say that as a criticism that this isn't a great book, because I hold any Brubaker collaboration pretty highly on my list. He's been one of my favorite writers for a long time, probably since I read Sleeper, like 20 years ago. And he rarely ever disappoints. He always works with the most world-class, amazing artists. So you're always going to get a stunning book. But sometimes, we're a victim of our own familiarity. We know a writer so well, their work so well, and we hold it with such revelry that sometimes it can't live up to our own expectations, right? So that was, I don't want to leave it on a sour note. It's really good. It's definitely worth picking up. Again, with the slightly undersized format, it's even a little cheaper than maybe a regular trade would be. This was 3 pretty oversized issues, issue 7, 8, and 9 of the series, and it was only like $16, and heavy discounts pretty much everywhere, right? Amazon. I get a lot of comics from Tales from Another World or DCBS or In Stock Trades. Or you know what? Support your local comic shop. Plop down that $16 because the comic shops need it these days. Next thing that I read is I got the next 2 issues in the Hellboy miniseries for Edward Grey. Edward Grey is one of my favorite parts of the Hellboy universe, and there's a lot of story to tell between where we left off with the 4 or 5 miniseries there have been so far, and what happens. What happens to him already if you've read Hellboy in the VPRD. And there's a lot of questions. So this one's filling that gap. It's also filling the gap with some other characters that were kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of lost along the way in Hellboy. And it's giving them some more purpose and some finality to their story, because if this is not really a spoiler because it's been several years. Hellboy came to an end, so to speak. And again, a lot of these threads were still dangling. Well, how did Edward Grey get to the state that he was in when it ended, and et cetera, et cetera. I just love him as kind of this bitchy Sherlock Holmes type character. I don't know how to describe him. He's just, one of the first paranormal investigators in this universe. And he's just such a great character, and the cast around him is so good. And it takes a very supernatural turn in this one, which I actually liked, and I like to see for him. And again, I won't spoil it too much. Ben Stenbeck, Mike Mignola, Dave Stewart, those 3 names together is pretty much an automatic buy for me anyway. So I haven't been getting a ton of these series in singles, but you know what? I just decided, I didn't have a huge comic book order, and I said, you know what? Let me no, we're fake live. This is an AI robot talking to you right now. Yeah, I'm trying to get more regular with the live streams. Hey, thanks for jumping in, Andrew. Yeah, I don't always get these miniseries, but Edward Grey, I feel like I can't wait for the trade. But I also thought it was weird because they solicited the hardcover with the 3rd issue. It's a short series, so maybe if I had known that, I might have skipped the issues. But again, it was a couple bucks. I like keeping up with Edward Grey of anybody in that universe. There's been a couple other series, like I got Frankenstein from Hellboy in the Mike Mignola Hellboy universe. That was a good one too. And here's another one I got in single issues, one of the few. And this one I cannot wait for. I just happened to see it solicited and bought the 1st issue. It's Uncanny Valley from Boom Studios. Tony Fleece, Dave Wachter. Don't think they even have a letterer on this. I'd hate to not credit them. Pat Berceau. Sorry about that, Pat. You should definitely be credited. Maybe when we have that limited of yeah. And then I should also say Clem Robbins, I believe, at letters. Yeah, Clem Robbins letters 90% of the Hellboy stuff. So I should mention that as a letterer myself. Uncanny Valley. What is it? Basically, it's a Roger Rabbit, but less funny, more serious take on cartoons are real. Now they're not. It's not as in your face as Roger Rabbit, right? Not everybody knows and interacts with them, but it's basically what if cartoons and cartoon characters were real, or there was some way that they were connected to the real world. That's not a huge spoiler. That's revealed in issue 1, which came out about 8 months ago. But that's the hook for the story. The young boy who is somehow connected to these cartoon characters, and how does he survive? I picked it up because I've known Dave for a while. We've worked together before. We're friends. Love his work. Love his art. And this is just it had to have been him and Tony sitting down and saying, Dave, how can we showcase you? It's I don't want to say a simple story, but the issues lean heavily on the art. Um, they let Dave do what Dave does so great. He uses two different styles in the book, and I'll try not to flip to any spoilers. You can see some cartoony pages here. Oops, let's flip through. Try not to spoil too much for you. And then it juxtaposes, here's one of our main characters here, the grandfather. And yeah, again, he just works so well in both styles. His colors are amazing. It's super fun. It's just awesome. Again, I picked it up because it's a peer and a friend in the community. I want to support him. And, I wouldn't be covering it here. I wouldn't be talking about it publicly if I thought it was less than stellar. I was very pleasantly surprised. It did do an odd twist if you didn't pick it up. I believe it was initially scheduled for 6 issues, and it looks like it's going to be 10 now. That's why I'm on issue 7 here. I couldn't find the other 6 to dig out, but this is the most recent issue that I read. But highly, highly recommend it. I believe the first trade is coming out very soon, if not out already. Pick it up. It's a joy to look at. Dave works between these two styles so perfectly. He was just the perfect person for this book. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually pitched it to Tony. I'd love to hear that story, because he probably said, hey, I have this cool story. Can you help me, write it, flesh it out? We want to work together. Tony is a great writer and creator himself. But yeah, Dave's written and told his own stories before, Guns of Shadow Valley and others. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, yeah, I want to work, I want to work in these multiple styles or something like that. And he's the perfect one for it. And it's amazing. And Boom was very smart to pick it up. And I hope that it gets picked up for something bigger, because it definitely could be one of those worlds that people really enjoy in other media. And last, but certainly not least, Pocketful of Rain, which is by the Swedish artist Jason. He only goes by his first name. I actually don't know what his full name is. But everybody just knows if you say Jason and leave it with no last name, they know who you're talking about. It's from Fantagraphics. I don't believe, I'll just check it just for the heck of it. But yeah, Jason does everything in his books. He has been a cartoonist for 25, 30 years now. He has a whole library full of books. He mostly works in short stories. Sometimes he does autobio stuff. And this is a lot of his older autobio and his early strip work that he was doing. There was well, let's just show you it. There, this is kind of more of his earlier style that he comes into. If you know him more for this style here. Most of us, like myself, who hadn't had the pleasure of seeing his early work translated, this is how we know him. But it was really cool to explore. Here you see this first page. This might even be one of his first works. It was super cool to see him kind of come to his final style through this book, to show some of his older work. I'm going to try to find some of the strips. He has just such an odd sense of humor. He's one of those creators you just cannot explain. A lot of times he leaves these very odd stories just dangling. There's really no ending to them. And for some reason, that's just so perfect with his style that I just cannot get enough of it. I couldn't even tell you which one of his books was my favorite, because again, a lot of them are collecting, shorter stories into these cool little hardcover books that Fantagraphics, of course, does amazing. You see him now kind of working towards his style where he did more of the dogs and cats and no people and stuff like that. Let's see if we can find that strip, which might have been some of his first work. Yeah, sorry, I'm flipping through so quick. This is definitely worth picking up. But he did a strip, I want to say it was called Jailbird or something. Yeah, there it is. This was great too, again, to see his early work, to see him work in even more of a limiting style than a short story, is a strip, right? A comic strip. So he does these cool little 4-panel strips, and sometimes he breaks that. Sometimes it's one panel. These were, these were super fun. This was an awesome book. I'm glad he hadn't had a book out in a while, so maybe they were kind of holding on to this one to kind of collect some of his earlier stuff. And it's definitely worth picking up if you're a fan of his for one, and I consider myself a huge fan. I think I have every single one of his Fantagraphics books. I mean, it's not just about collecting the books doesn't make you a fan. He's often first off the shelf, off the stack. Sorry, I have a stack of books next to my bed. It's probably 100 books deep, maybe 20 single issues and like 80 trade paperbacks, maybe more, that I just keep piling up every month, like most of us do, right? Most of us collectors have these in Comics group I'm a part of, 11 o'clock comics. They call it the Regina pile, and mine is always huge and it's daunting. And I just thought I would, in this way, share some of the books that I've been enjoying. The pile I don't think will ever truly end unless I, just sell all the books or give them away or anything like that. It just always continues to grow. But that's what I also enjoy about the media. I enjoy supporting others, and I enjoy, even if I just flip through the book and don't get to it for a while, I like having so many options there to read when I do find time to read. And again, Jason, Ed Brubaker, Dave, anything pretty much Mignolaverse. It's no surprise that these were in the stack next to my bed that I had read to come down and put on the shelves behind me, because they are top of the stack pretty much every time they come out with something. So that's what I'm reading. Oh, what do you got? You grabbed issue 1 of Uncanny Valley. Yep. You haven't kept up with it. Well, I will say, yeah, again, I think it's a little bit more open storytelling. There's a lot of action. I think that plays into the story too, right? You got these cartoony characters. You want to see them act, not see them talk for 45 panels. But there's definitely a cool story there, Andrew. So I hope, again, it's out in trade. It'll probably come out when it's finished, the 10 or so issues that it's going to be now. It'll probably come out. I hope that we're not expected to read all the books we put out, because yeah, it'll be like that Twilight Zone episode. By the time we find the time, our glasses will break or whatever, but hopefully someday. But yeah, I will again just leave you with the final plug here. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Again, comment if what you've been reading. If you're watching this on YouTube afterwards, we've got the LCS Kickstarter coming second week of March. Oops. What the heck? Sorry, more technical difficulties. Oh, okay. It's working. Yeah. So we've got LCS coming up. There's going to be all kinds of deals. Again, we'll do some of these little sketch cards in there, to reward early backers who check, scan those add-on sections. We're going to have some cool stuff there. We've got original art, which is, one-of-a-kind items. We've got one-of-a-kind bundle deals at huge discounts too. So if you're looking for that kind of stuff, you got to jump in there and back early. So please check it out. And yeah, I'll be back sometime next week. I'll try to do these once a week to keep up with you peoples on the internet. All right. Take care.